Hi there, welcome. This is another edition of Who Are You? This time we are going international. We have managed to secure a Millwall fan living down under. So we are doing this interview pretty much in the future. It's about 7:30 UK time. And that's, well, where are we? It's 7:50 a.m. UK time. And I think it's nearly 5 o'clock p.m. In Australia. So we are in the future. It does make you feel a bit, ooh. But yeah, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest, Michael. It's good evening to you and good morning to me. So good evening, Michael. Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Yep. Yeah, not bad, mate. Can't complain. Bit tired from earlier, as I said. But anyway.
That's it. Bit of gardening in 100 degrees heat, eh? Doesn't it?
That's, near enough. But anyway.
It wakes you up, doesn't it? Definitely. Yeah. So who are you? And obviously, whereabouts in Australia do you live?
My name is Micky, and I'm on Twitter as Millwall Micky. I've lived in Sydney the last 12 years. I'm a printer, and I've been in the print my whole life. And I used to live in South London. Started in Peckham, ended in Elton. I'm about 35 kilometres outside the city, which is about distance-wise London Bridge to Dartford.
Excellent. Talk about Dartford. That's where I live. So there we go. It's topical as well. I used to be a Bermondsey boy, and then unfortunately get priced out. Yeah. So let's crack on with the questions. Question number 2 is fairly straightforward and eases you in nicely. How the hell did you become a Millwall supporter?
It's my dad. It's thanks for my dad. My dad used to be, when he was very young, in the 60s, he used to be a very big fan of Jimmy Greaves. So Jimmy Greaves, for those who don't know him as a football player, not the way he ended, which was very sad, but when he was a football player, he was probably the best of his time, along the lines of Ronaldo now and all of that kind of business. But my dad was one of his biggest fans, and he used to, when he could afford it, go to Tottenham games. But then when my sister and me come along, he started going Millwall games, become a Millwall fan, as you do. And when I got old enough, I wanted to go with my dad, but my dad being my dad, he was at the time, he wanted a drink, and he would dump me with my Uncle Peter, and my Uncle Peter would take me to Millwall. And that's where I started going when I was 6 years old, my first game. So, yeah.
Well, that gets us into the next question quite nicely with a nice link there. So, what was your first Millwall game, and obviously, what was your memories or impressions from the first game?
So, I've done all my fact checks on these things, so it sounds a bit better. Not like the I'm in an hour in person that I normally am, but at first, all I could remember was that it was Leyton Orient at home. But around the time, it was at the Old Den, obviously. Yeah. September the 9th, 1984. And that was in Division 3 South, which at the time we wasn't doing too good at. And all I remember was I was amazed about how big it was, how many people there were. It was probably about 3,000 at the time. But when you're little, you think that 3,000 people is like 25,000 people. Yeah. And as your man the other day said, he sparked the memory of pissing up the wall in one of the stands. I remember doing that, as everyone else did when they were kids. And the crowd noise and getting the monkey nuts, excuse the pun.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Fresh hot monkey nuts. They were the weapon of choice for snacks for kids back then. So,
Do you still remember the smell now?
All day long. I'd kill for a bag of them right now. Paper bag, fresh out of a guy on the stand. Brilliant. Yeah. But that was my first memories.
Excellent. So moving on to question number 3. Where did you sit? CBL, halfway, seats, Ilderton Road?
I sat in the cold blow. Stood in the cold blow a couple of times when I was a kid. But then I moved into the family enclosure because my uncle at the time was very big with, or very close with the club secretary.
Yep.
I wouldn't be able to tell you his name at the time, but because I got so mad into it at the time, I'd be able to go up to where the players and managers went in, right by the ticket office of the old place, and I'd be able to get autographs to the nice players who would like be able to stop. They all wouldn't, but people like Ron Atkinson, when he was arguably at his best, I would up to him and autograph. So yeah.
I got you. So
yeah,
obviously you've been to the New Den.
Oh yeah.
And obviously being out there 12 years, you've been there a while. But whereabouts do you sit at the New Den?
The place I used to sit, South Stand, Cold Blow Lane. I used to sit behind a goal in the lower tier. I sat a couple of times in the East Lower, didn't like it, hated it. But behind the goal, I didn't care what people said. There's a lot of names for what people who sit behind the goal are, but yeah, I used to love it every time, and I always used to try and get in the newspaper of the South London Press when the goals went in. I always used to try and make a tit of myself, like making silly noises or faces and stuff like that. Put the goalkeepers off. Hopefully the opposition goalkeepers, yeah. But yeah,
a lot of people call that stand now the Jeremy Kyle stand.
Yeah, I know. I've heard other names for the actual people who sit in it.
Yeah.
But I might get you into trouble, and I'll get me into trouble because my Australian wife is just staying in the hallway. So yeah.
yeah. I understand that. So moving on to question 6, who's your favourite all-time player?
Now this is going to cause. This is where I get controversial. So I like flair players. Big into flair players. Back when I first started going, when I first started remembering and appreciating, your Jimmy Carter type player was like big. Like I was big fan of his. Favourite non-Millwall player was Cantona. Loved Cantona. Loved the way he just didn't give a shit about what anyone said.
You mean the way he kicks Crystal Palace fans?
Yeah, that as well. That helped. But that just basically, it amazed me every time. And his famous celebration where he just stood there in front of the Sheffield United fans with his arms up, like that was really good for me. But my first major favourite player was Sheringham.
Yeah. But
when he joined West Ham, again, I don't care what people say, that broke me in half. Didn't like his attitude, didn't like the way he is. I know he acknowledges the club now and what he done at the club and what the club done for him. But again, it's just disrespectful.
I think the reason behind the story, allegedly behind the reason why he didn't re-sign for us, was that the academy dropped his son. The academy dropped his son, and he had the raving ump, and because of that, again, it's a rumour. How true rumours are, we obviously, we don't know.
Yeah.
Someone can make them up, but yeah, I was speaking to someone who knows their history fairly well and whatnot, and I was joking around when we were talking about him when I was a Judas, and they went, no, it was pretty much because he put his son into Millwall and Millwall dropped him, and then I think West Ham gave him a place or someone gave him a place, and he just thought, well,
but then he said he was always a lifetime West Ham fan as well. That was the killer one for me.
I think Teddy Sheringham.
The fact that he said he was a West Ham fan.
I think Teddy Sheringham tells people he's whatever club he goes to, and he is one of those sort of players.
Yeah, I know.
He signs. Oh yeah, I've been a youth, a long time offender supporting this club, blah blah. So yeah, so
money grabbing, rude C word, but the nearest, and again, anyone who don't like me for that, that's fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion, like I am. But towards the end, this is where I'm going to get controversial. Oh, I don't know if anyone else is going to see this one, but
okay, yeah.
Long story short, Chris. When he come along, I just loved everything he done. He, unlike Scalak, I liked Scalak originally, but then he sort of drifted off for one reason or another. He come along and he got stuck away. It'll always stick in my mind. And I was behind I was in the Cold Blow Line end at the time. We was playing Coventry in the Cup. As far as I remember, I don't know if we won, but we might have lost or drawn. But anyway, he scored a free kick. And I swear, as I'll sit right now to the day I die, that free kick done a Roberto Carlos and swerved like midair and went past Magnus Hedman. And again, Magnus Hedman was arguably at the time the best goalkeeper in the world. And I'll always love that bloke for that, and I don't care what anyone thinks.
I think the way we do this is that it's individuals. We're finding out about individuals, what you love, what you hate, and everything else. And I think it creates a good discussion that when people listen to it, they're like, it's there to trigger memories of other people. If people want to get into a debate with it, then great. It's all great that the show creates that. But I think it's more to do with we just need to. It's just finding out what drives you. I mean, we've all got players we like. I mean, when I first started going Millwall, I really liked Shaw. I think it was more the song, Baldy Shaw and whatnot, that it was just one of those. But, going forward, there's some of the ex-players. Jimmy, Jimmy is, was a great player on the pitch. He played really well, but he's a really nice person. And through the roles at Millwall and whatnot, he was a true gentleman, absolutely lovely to speak to, great with fans. It's just, nothing was ever too much for him. And that's what I think it is. It doesn't matter who your favourite player is. I think we've all got reasons why we like certain players. So, just let me just say before we move on to the next question, hopefully this show will sound perfectly great once we go through edit, but it is because obviously we are going international. There is a bit of a lag or a bit of a lockout sometimes with the internet connections. No, it's probably mine. My boys come down and started going on YouTube as well. So it's there is a little bit of a bit, but it should be fine. I don't think it'll be an issue. What's your favourite manager, all-time manager?
So start again.
That's
Mick
much
McCarthy.
Better.
Yeah, Mick McCarthy.
We switched to switch.
So Mick McCarthy, when as far as I remember, when we was before he come along, we was a bit like stale, doing nothing, and he come along and brought a good ethos into the club where he was like attacking and like where players got stuck in, and that went down really well at the time, and that's when we had a good crack at getting, like, as far as I remember, getting close to a premiership. I could be wrong, but that was that. And Dennis Wise for the obvious reason. Ray Wilkins. Ray Wilkins might have been the more manager type than Dennis Wise, but let's say the team of Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins. And also, bit of a mention for Rhino. Rhino was for the obvious reasons, because he's Rhino, and I loved everything he done, but he just didn't deserve the treatment he got. I don't think. And yeah, that's about that. So
I fully agree with you.
Yeah.
Rhino, I think, was quite harshly treated by the club. He is a legend. He is a fantastic servant to the club, and I think there's been a few times over the years where he's been dealt quite harshly with various things with the club.
Yes,
but yeah.
Okay.
So coming in, question 8 is normally a good one for people. Who's your worst Millwall player you've ever seen?
Okay. I don't know whether it was you or somebody else, but somebody said come up with somebody else other than Bob Peters. So I'm going to come up with somebody else other than Bob Peters, and there's a few. So Bobby Bowery, didn't like him at all.
Right.
Wickham's star man at the moment, Adebayo Akinfenwa, didn't like him. Didn't really, even though he does what he does in League One, didn't really feel that he pulled his weight for us, pardon the pun, because he's a bit of a big unit.
I wouldn't like to tell him to his face.
No, and then the last two, Tuttle and Ricky Newman. So I had a little look back at the records, and Tuttle and Ricky Newman, not my biggest fans, no. So,
quite a choice.
Yeah.
Normally it's who do we normally have? Who was the fat striker? What Holloway brought in? Double barrel name. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but yeah, people.
Somebody mentioned him.
Yeah, quite a few have mentioned him. Yeah, but yeah, there's a few. So we've done the worst Millwall player. Who's your worst ever player you've seen at the Den?
So this could be arguably worst or best, but everyone knows why. The Mother's Day Massacre, the man of the match, Christian Daly.
You're not the first to say that.
Christian Daly. It's just, I know, but there is nobody else. Christian Daly, when he played for, I think it was Sunderland, and when he played for everyone's favourite team, West Ham. He was just always crap, to put it politely. Worst player to ever wear a football shirt in my life, I think. Probably. That's
quite a statement, but yeah, you're not the first. You're not the first.
How he got so many, has so much game time for West Ham, I'll never know. But yeah, yeah.
So, question 10: who is your worst ever? Worst ever? No, that's not it. That was throwing me. Then that would teach me to read the last question. Your most memorable match involving Millwall.
Okay, well, there's two. First one, Paul Dickoff's Man City versus us, away. February at Main Road, February the 6th, 1999. We got absolutely mullered, 3-0. But everyone who went would know what I remember. Stockport train station, going up there was the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life. I'm not going to go too much into details because, again, we might both get into trouble. But basically, let's just say a certain individual of a certain occupation was on their own and they got scared very much. Nobody was doing anything at the time. No individuals were doing anything at the time, but there was one individual of a certain occupation at Stockport Station, and they didn't plan the whole, contingent of Millwall were going to get off at Stockport Station. But let's just say when we got off at Stockport Station, they realised that they were in for a busy day. It was great. And then the other one...
obviously, on that point, we were talking about Manchester Constabulary, I think.
Yes. But obviously, nothing happened. All of us honest.
We were just lovely fans.
All of us honest. All of us honest to God Millwall fans were just going out there for some alcoholic beverages.
Yes, and a good game of football.
And a good game of honest to God football. Yes. That's the one. And the second one was Millwall Sheffield Wednesday at home, 4-all, 26th of January 1991. We should have won the game. By what I can remember, it was a cup game, but it was 2 for Sheringham and 2 for Cascarino, and we totally, absolutely mullered them. And the fact that we didn't win was just a travesty. And again, I think it was Michael Calvin or something along those lines who actually said that he was told about that game when he was initially doing the research for the first round of family. So that was one that stayed in the memory banks, and that's where I got Ron Atkinson's autograph.
Okay,
so, yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what's your favourite ever Millwall moment?
Mike Calvin might be the one who reminded me of this the other day, and your man Millwall TT.
Yeah.
The Oldham title game. Totally forgot about that, but that was just brilliant on every level of every scale.
You're on about with Merv Payne, who talked about the Oldham game where...
Could be, where we beat 5-0 at home.
Yeah.
And we lifted the Division 2 title at home at the Den.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I was nearly going to go on the pitch the only time in my life, and I didn't. I'm very proud to say that. And the Old Trafford game, the semi-final where Cahill scored the goal. After the goal went in, I was sitting, I don't know exactly where I was, but I was sitting right next to the scoreboard. At the time, they just had a normal old school scoreboard. You could see the clock, the score. And after our goal went in, it seemed like everything was going in slow motion for me. The clock was going slower, everything like that. And then Paul Durkin blowing that whistle, I just burst into tears. It was brilliant. So, yeah.
I don't think you were the only one that time, mate. So, yeah.
No. Plus, my old man who ain't around no more was standing next to me. So, yeah, that was good. One of the good memories.
Excellent. Funniest ever moment following Millwall?
I've wrote this, and there's a confession afterwards for question 13. So a lot of people won't know that. For the one where you talked to me about question 13, a lot of people might not know this, but who went. But 12 and 13 about one thing: Budapest. The Budapest game. Because I was very lucky to go to that. So the funniest things were not sleeping for 3 days. The munch on as the Malev Airlines plane took off, and all the stewardesses and everything was looking around at us thinking, what the hell's going on? Literally everyone on that plane was Millwall. It must have been... I can't think of the word right now. Must have been put aside for us or something. Yeah. My little group wasn't with the club, but it must have been put aside for us or something, because every single person on that plane was Millwall. Then as we went to the ground, seeing little picnic tables full of knives and bats on the side of the streets, outside the ground, getting sorted, and then coming out the ground, getting escorted by a family from the ground outside, who didn't speak a word of English because they could see us, on my group, and that we were half normal. And they escorted us to some kind of civilization, because if they didn't, we would have been in trouble. And then as a group, trying to find any bar or establishment of any kind that would sell alcohol, because, again, nowhere in Budapest would speak English, and it still had a bit of a communist-type element in there. And if you went in the wrong place, let's just say you would have been in more trouble. So,
Yeah, very scary place, wasn't it? I've spoken to a few people and they said it was just, it was a different level out there. Even the security guards were against you. They were pretty much the hooligans.
Yeah, beat West Ham for scary, beat Main Road for scary, hands down.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah. So what's your? So, I mean, is that
the confession?
Yes.
Question 13.
Do we need to play? I think what we do is before we go into that, when I edit this together, I will put the confessional music over the top of that for you from the Radio 2 show. So we'll do that. So
that's fine.
So let's hit the music and off we go.
Right. Budapest again. To those who actually went, it would be along the same lines of me. I don't think anyone there had any sleep. But those who when we were coming home, there was a certain individual who was using the older Only Fools and Horses sketch of Gary, where that guy could, but the only thing he could say was the word Gary. And there was a certain individual who was smashed out of his head, and all he was saying when he was coming home was Gary, but in a more longer and annoying way. Well, I'm that person. Yeah. So anyone who might remember that or heard of that, because it still apparently it still gets talked about on House of Fun now. Yeah, I'm the individual. Holding my hands up. 2 days of drinking alcohol, and it wasn't just beer. Yeah.
Do you know what that was? That scene from Only Fools and Horses is brilliant. I think I might have to.
Yes.
I might have to get that and play that. So that's an open confession that you were the man shouting.
Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Gotti, 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 Gotti.
All the way home.
That's the one. Yep. Yes. And the person that we both know had to basically tell me one more time. He goes, one more time, I'm going to tell you, if you don't shut up, I'm going to let you go. And these people ain't going to hold back. Yeah, that person we both know. So yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Hello, Paul.
Yes.
Where are we done there? So, who's your favourite current player?
Yeah. So, current player, I didn't like Bart at first, the goalie, but now I do. He's getting stuck in all the time, and he's turned into a definite Millwall player. So that's good. Ryan Woods, to me, has to do a lot of work to justify the money we're going to have to pay for him, but you've seen glimpses. At first, again, people were amazed over him, but I wasn't, because I watch on the iFollow over here. And the last game that I watched, I can't remember who it was last Saturday, but he done a bit of this and a bit of that, but pinged a few balls around, but it was still a nil draw. So yeah, but my favourite current player is Jake Cooper. Simple. And Aidan O'Brien, another one who should have got more of a chance, but looks like he will not.
There's rumours flying around at the moment that he's potentially, I mean, the rumours what I've heard is potentially, this will air well in years to come if he goes somewhere else, but he's potentially off to Celtic.
Well, if he does, good luck to him, because he deserves it. He deserves a crack, but he's a striker. He's not a left winger. When he first started, to those who remember, he's a striker. He's an out-and-out striker. And the way, another thing that infuriates me is the one-up-front scenario. We are not a one-up-front team. If people want to play one-up-front, they should go to a Premier League team. Somebody should be playing alongside Bradshaw, like a quick, because Bradshaw might be classed as your normal number 10.
Yeah.
But he is also quick. And Matt Smith, I'm not his biggest fan, to be honest. I know he scores goals, but he's no Paul Moody. He should have somebody running off of him as well. And people like Mason Bennett, who I'm not a fan of, should be running forward to run off of him. And your perfect bloke who would do that is your Aidan O'Brien.
Yeah.
But again, they don't get a chance.
He's good when he plays, but it'll be interesting to see whether or not he goes or not. Rumours are a wonderful thing. So, yeah. So your best away day following Millwall, I take it, is the European adventure.
No.
Okay.
I could say Palace or West Ham, or the many small clubs that I've been when we was in League One. I think all the League One clubs, me and my lot over there went to one day or another. But for me, it was the Auto Windscreen Shield final.
99 at
the old
Wembley.
Yeah. The old Wembley, it meant so much. So many concerts there, so many teams played there. Obviously, the 66 World Cup was there. But that Auto Windscreen Shield final was brilliant. And, Wigan won, but, we should have won it.
With a very controversial last-minute goal.
Yes. Me and my group, we had an open-top bus, and let's say quite a few Chelsea fans and people that we saw on the way, they regretted going near our open-top bus.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. Oh, have you? Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I've seen some of the pictures. Obviously, with a mutual friend. I've seen some of those pictures and whatnot. So yeah. Question 16. Obviously, 16 and 17 go together, but 16 is obviously your number one as such. Who is your most disliked opponent ever?
Disliked's a nice word, but West Ham. Yeah. West Ham, simple. I spent the first 13 years of my life working in Bandit country, as it's known.
Yeah.
And, it was just terrible. The one time I went there, that back alley that everyone had to go through to go to the away stand was just ridiculous. How they got away with that for so many years, I'll never know. But their ground was proper ground, and why they let it go to come into that tin pot council estate, I'll never know.
No, I think it was the worst thing they ever did.
That's the only thing that old Karen Brady can say.
Yeah, I think it was the worst thing West Ham fans ever did. Was to do that. So who are your top three rivals?
The West Ham or Leeds, I can only come up with those two. There's the little pretenders who like to think there are rivals, but they're not, like Palace, Charlton, Gillingham. But then there's no one else other than West Ham and Leeds, really. West Ham and Leeds, they're rivals like to go on, know what kind of levels I'm at. So, yeah.
There we go. Let's start again. If you could change anything, and that could be, you could change a Millwall result, you could change something with you following Millwall, could be a Millwall player, could be a player what was sold, or a manager. What would you change and why?
Okay, the first one's an easy one. I would like the club to more acknowledge the overseas fans, because there's quite a few countries now who've got their own, acknowledged supporters clubs. Our one for over here, it used to be more known, but it's called Millwall Down Under.
Yeah.
And we got acknowledgement. We was allowed to use the crest. I know a few people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But I just feel that we would like a bit. I'd like a bit more acknowledgement. Then I follow. It's a good thing, but for the money that we're expected to pay, I'd like something else better. Even if we was charged more money, I'd more bit better, because some of the feeds from the away clubs are just ridiculous. Millwall through Billy, I think the club doing good on the media side of things. The feeds now from us are really good. You've always got good signal, all of that kind of business. Plus Les Briley, the pundit, he does an amazing job.
I like Cole as well.
The away clubs, their feeds are just ridiculous.
Yeah. No,
Cole, yes. Sorry, Cole. He deserves some recognition. Cole's good as well.
And
but the away clubs need some.
So do you get the over in Australia? I mean, over here, depending obviously how you watch it. Some days you can get, I think a lot of people watch it on internet-based TV. You can either get the home team or the away team commentary. But do you not get Millwall? Yeah. Commentating on every game you watch?
So we get Carl and Les at home games, but then there's Carl with some other bloke who I don't remember. It might be Billy, but I'm not too sure.
No, I think it's Billy's counterpart.
Billy said that because I think Billy said he does some games, but he doesn't do every game.
No, there's a new.
But I get some other guy doing it.
Yeah, because you're not a big fan.
It's not the commentating's good. No, the commentating's not the problem for me. It's the feeds. The feeds of the away clubs are an issue. And I've liaised with Billy, and he telling him what clubs are bad, what clubs are good, but. Again, the money that people are expected to pay, and I mean other clubs as well. If there was, say, a Middlesbrough fan over here, they'd be expected to pay the same money as I am. So the whole scheme is just like ridiculous. So especially for the money we're meant to pay. And lastly, the one that probably is a bit more harder, I would beg Husky Chocolate to buy the club. So that might be the injection of money that we might need.
I think we're all right with the club. I mean, I think JB has been a good investment for us. He's been a good servant to us. I think he's ploughed in a hell of a lot of money. I think it's great that we've got a 5-year deal with Husky, and obviously how Husky become involved with the club is obviously. Again, it's a folklore or rumour as such, but it's a good cause that they got in. He does have a few quid. The owner of Husky, he's done some fantastic stuff for the fans at the moment. He's made when he joined, he made a big investment into the trust. He obviously contributed to the bench for Lee, obviously the Millwall Fan, the fallen soldier. He's had some good involvement with charities and stuff, and. I think hopefully going forward we'll probably get shirts out quicker, we'll do more, and I think that they are a good sponsor for us going forward. It'll be great. It'll be great going forward to see with their brand where it goes, because they are fairly new brand hitting the market, and it's going really well. But look, we're lucky they chose Millwall.
Exactly.
And a 5-year deal. We're only one season in, so there's exciting things to go. So, question 19. Actually, we'll go back to question 18 a sec. So, yours is your Millwall Down Under is an independent club. It's nothing to do with the MSC or anything like that, is it?
Nothing to do with anyone. There was a few attempts to do something back in the day to affiliate us, Millwall Down Under, with a few other things. But let's just say it didn't work out. I'm not going to rock any boats, but there's a few people who deserve some mentions. You can find them on Twitter as well. Okay, on Twitter, all one word, Darren at MFC. He's a top chef and he works in Sydney. Then Bondi Lion, he's on House of Fun. He's like well known throughout the how can I say the Millwall fan bases.
That's Bondi Lion's the guy who's unfortunately just lost his son, wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah. But he deserves a mention because of what he's done down here.
Yeah.
And another guy, Nick _Howe.
Yeah.
The Sydney version of Newcastle, he lives up there. And as far as I'm aware, he pretty much now runs the group from Facebook. But I'm not really involved with it anymore. Long story. And then another guy who's in Perth, Jim MFC, really nice bloke. Yeah. They're all like highly prevalent in the scene over here. And through them and a little bit of extra help, obviously, we've got a nice little base going. So it's all good.
So any fans who are going ever out to Australia and want to meet up with some other Millwall fans, obviously those names, we will click them on onto the description at the end of on the notes of this, so you can quite happily find. And any of you guys want to come on and do the same as what Micky's done, then please just get in touch. It will be good to highlight what you lot do over there and see if you can get more members, because I reckon there's a hell of a large Millwall following on Australia, and it'll be good to speak to some 100%. More people and get some stories and stuff. So it's always good. All-time favourite shirt.
I showed it to you earlier, and I got it out for you because you're a nice.
So this is the. Do you know what that stands for?
The book CYC Mill.
Do you know what CYC?
No.
I mean, obviously this is video how we record this. So Michael's showing us the blue shirt with the CYC. I don't know if it's true, but someone fairly well influenced told me that says Chelsea, you cunts.
That would be good if it did, but I thought they were some kind of like haulage firm or rubbish collecting firm.
They're a courier firm, or used to be a courier firm. They've now been brought out by another company. But I was told that the reason that's initials, and nowhere you can find exactly what that stands for, but the Millwall Fan who own that company, allegedly, that says Chelsea, you cunts. So whether or not it is or not, I don't know. So
If it's true, good luck to him.
Yeah,
he's done well.
That's it. So, question 20, our final question. Your best piece of Millwall memorabilia you own?
Okay. I had bucket loads, but unfortunately, my dad's place that we owned in Eltham had a garage, and when I moved out here, he stored all my gear that I left there in that garage, and basically one day the roof caved in, and all the stuff in that garage, you name it, what would be kept in a house, and like vinyl records and programs and signatures and shirts and all of that kind of business, totally destroyed.
That's gutting.
Yeah.
That's gutting. Absolutely gutting.
The last time I saw him breathing, he gave me the shirts that I had that were still wearable or actual usable. So the ones I've got over here, one day when I get the money, I might use the excuse for the missus to do it for me one day as a birthday present. I might just get them framed.
That's it. I've got loads.
Yeah.
I've got a few shirts and they're sitting in bags rather than being framed. I want to get them framed at some point. Well, look, that's the 20 questions all done. Obviously, you are down under.
Yes.
And I suppose as an international, it's slightly different to people in the UK. Is there anybody you would like to give a shout out to? And if you do, do so now.
Okay. Paul Turner. He's well known on the on the boards and the circles and the Twitter, but I'll just say that he was my best man at my wedding, and sometimes he's like Marmite, but mate, and he's known me since I was 17, so
he's probably looked after you for everything, isn't he?
He deserves a mention. Oh yeah. The guys I said, so Darren MFC, Bondi Lion, Nick Howe, and Jim MFC. They're all on Twitter. You give them a search. Just even if you just want to say hello, you don't even have to be over here. Just say hello. They're all nice blokes. They'll all have a chat when they can, obviously, because Darren is a busy chef and the other ones have got busy jobs as well. So that's about it, really. Can't think of anything else.
Not a problem at all. Well,
one more.
Go on then.
One more. Mark Rivette. He lives in Sidcup. Just give him a shout out as a surprise. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to have to work wonders with this edit. Dealing with dodges of internet, but I think it'll be all right.
Sorry, everyone, and sorry, mate.
No, it's not your fault. I think it's the UK as much as anything else. I think that's the. But look,
mine's not the best, mate. Either.
No, that's it. Well, look, thank you very much for taking part. Thank you very much for doing it. Obviously, we know each other through
no problem.
Paul Turner, and we've spoken over years. Obviously. For a time with everything going on and whatnot, we've obviously connected and talked, and I offered you the chance to come on, and you've done. So my closing statements are: look, if you like this, who are you? It's meant to be a way of getting some people's Millwall history on to a saved compact, really, basically getting it onto audio, getting people to share their Millwall stories. And we're about 3 shows in now. We've got a few more guests lined up coming over the next week or two, and we're looking to get these shows out, hopefully at least once a month going forward, possibly more. But look, it's 20 questions. The 20 questions are fairly straightforward. They're not too in-depth. You don't have to incriminate yourself in any way. It is only audio. So we do a video, but you don't have to actually put yourself out there. So you can still say fairly anonymous. You can hide behind your Twitter name or Facebook name. But if you think, I quite fancy this, get in touch, that Millwall podcast at gmail.com, or you can follow us on Twitter at that Millwall pod. It's really straightforward. And if you want to be part of the show, just get in touch. Thank you very much to Micky, who is down under, who's probably going out for a big piss up now. I'm looking to start my day. It's now nearly 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I've ever had to get up and do a show so early. Normally we do shows late at night. But look, Micky, you've been a fantastic guest for us. Thank you very much. Micky, you've been who are you? That's been some great stories related to the questions. Thank you very much. Please do tune in next time. Remember to, if you do like the show, make sure you like it, subscribe, give us a review, or you want to get involved. I have told you how. So that's it from us. Until the next time, thank you very, very much.
Waltzing Matilda is a song about an Australian hobo, I guess you'd call him. He wanders through the bushland of Australia and he takes all his meagre belongings wrapped up in an old blanket, which is strung across his shoulders with an old piece of twine. And this is called his swag, hence the name Swagman. Now, affectionately or otherwise, he refers to this swag as Matilda. It's like his only companion, and as he wanders through the bush tracks, he finds himself talking to it as if it's a real person. So the term Waltzing Matilda has nothing to do with dancing at all. It means, in fact, carrying this thing on your back through the long, lonely stretches of the Australian bush. A couple of other terms quickly. Pay attention because I will be asking questions afterwards about this. A couple of other terms. A billabong is a pool of deep water. A billy is a little tin can they boil the tea in. A jumbuck is a sheep. A tucker bag is a bag for carrying tucker. Food bag is a tucker is food. It's a food bag. Sorry, like a knapsack. What else? The squatter is the big landowner. That's enough. Let's get on with the song. Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Then down came a jumbuck to drink at that billabong. Up jumped the swagman and grabbed him with glee, and he sang as he shoved that jumbuck in his tucker bag. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda.
It's your apartment speaking, and I need some favors. When you're singing in the shower, just try going up a key. You're trying to be an alto when really you're a soprano. Oh, and if you could bundle your renters and car insurance with Geico, it's easy to do online and we could save money. And then, when you read your murder mysteries at night, could you read out loud? But skip the murder parts because I get scared.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.